So my structure, I actually don't have the exact measurement of the structure, but most of it was from my head. It was more like a DIY thing because I wanted a space where the chicken I could pass by. Here is a corridor, and initially I had 4 partitions: the top one, the bottom, and this side top and bottom. But later when they became chicken, they became big. I ended up separating the chicken because they were eating up each other up, and the suffocation, the space was not enough for them. So I separated this section, all of it, I separated to be 3 portions, like the ground one, the middle, and the top. The top was not divided. The bottom we separated because I wanted to separate the roosters to the bottom and the female, the hens in the middle, and the hens on top. Now here I had a mixture of both the roosters and the hens, but down here now here I separated also twice for being a quarantine section and a store, something more like a store, and in here was a corridor, so I can be able to access both rooms or all the rooms. Now the big mistake I made was the droppings, because up to date I am sweeping, or rather I am the top counters. I usually sweep the droppings, which is exhausting. It's too much work. I would advise for someone to do like a mesh so that the dropping can go down, and maybe have iron sheets on the bottom just below the mesh, so that you can be picking up your droppings. It's easier, it's faster, it's clean, because trust me, if you're having a board like I did on top, like the floor to be board, is a lot of work. You have to be tidy, you have to clean up all the time, so the chicken don't have to be in an untidy place. The second thing was a mesh. Myself, on this section, I did the big mesh and the small mesh, but it wasn't enough because the chicken were hurting on the feet. So have to consider the chicken mesh and maybe be generous with the mesh, because the feet are quite soft. The other last portion I did was a quarantine, which the chicken that fell sick, I used to bring them here, and they get better. I'm taking medication. I take them back to where they came from. Another secret that you should have when you're feeding the chicken is this bar, the feeders, because initially I did the feeders, these kind of feeders, and yes, it was fine at first. Actually, this was not the first one. I did another one here that looks like this one here. It was more like metal or iron sheets that have been made to a feeder, and the chicken used to waste a lot of feeds because they would just go dig in and even poop in it, and yeah, the hygiene was quite a mess. So we changed to these feeders, and they were easier. They were way better than what we had before. But I came to realize these feeders here, this type, I have two. One comes up here, but this section doesn't. This middle section doesn't have chicken. We sold so many roosters. We remained with very few roosters, up to around at most 8. So we have these feeders, and these feeders are really, really nice. You can feed many chicken, and the hygiene is quite high, because you're really, really hygienic with this. And yeah, they don't really mess up with the food. Now, the corridor part serves me well because I can fit in. 2 people can fit in here. But since you're alone and you're feeding alone, this space is quite enough for me. Also, I did this structure from using that back end was a wall, like someone's wall. So what I did, I had to use the advantage of that and just find a way of making it like a fence, or rather a wall for one side of the building or of the structure, and this other side put iron sheets all the way to the bottom, and the other side as well. But the front, I did the aeration. You need to have enough aeration for your chicken, because chicken need air, and you need to have air that circulates in there very well. Myself, I wouldn't have this if I'm told to do it correctly or do it well, which I will do, I wouldn't follow this structure exactly. I would borrow a few things from this one, but from my research and from other experience from other people who've done chicken before, I would put the iron sheet to be mesh. Have the mesh all around, because it's easier. The air goes in and out. The air goes in and out of the house easily. Now, the other thing that I would say is have a place for layers, because the chicken that I'm having, the hens, I haven't figured out the best way to pick eggs. I do pick eggs, yes. I have over 20 hens right now, but the truth is I haven't come up with the best way for layers, for a place to lay. Tell me in the comment section, guys, what you have, what ideas do you have for layers and the chicken that lay, because it's getting a bit mess, because the chicken actually at the moment they're eating the eggs. Not all of them, but 1 or 2 are eating the eggs. So I have to be here early in the morning to pick the eggs, and later in the day, so I can have enough eggs from the chicken. Otherwise, most chicken eat, and those who are not even laying, they still eat the eggs, which is a loss for me, because they eat and feed and they should be giving me eggs. So guys, tell me on the comment section, what are you doing, what should I do with the laying area, let me call it that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I give you a little bit of insight, or enough insight. We'll talk more on the feeders and the drinkers, but this is what has worked for me at the moment. These feeders are working for me at the moment, and of course with the best feeders that I discovered are really nice, but I would do it different. If I'm told to do it, I'll do it different. I'll use these feeders for the chicken, for the grown chicken. For the babies, maybe I'd use these feeders, but the grown ones, definitely go with this. Thank you so much.